Hello friends, welcome to Infinity for All. Today we will begin with the last theorem in the topic of multiple integrals, that is the Leibniz rule for differentiation under integral sign. Okay, so first we will see the statement or the question. Let U be an open set in R2 containing the rectangle AB cross CD. Suppose f is a function from the region U to R and it is continuously differentiable function. Then further we have to show that g dash of x is equal to integration of the partial derivative of the function f with respect to x from c to d dy, where gx, the function gx, is equal to integration cd fx comma y dy. This is known as Leibniz rule for differentiation under integral sign. Let us see the proof. Let R is equal to AB cross CD be a rectangle contained in U. First we had U, and in that there is a rectangle R, and R is, since it is contained in U and U is open, R is closed and bounded subset of U. It is given that f is continuously differentiable. Now let us begin. First we will write what is given. Given f is continuously differentiable. Continuously differentiable. Now what does this imply? It implies that partial derivative of the function f with respect to x, partial derivative of the function f with respect to y are continuous on R. Now a continuous function defined on a closed and bounded domain is uniformly continuous. This is the definition that we know, or a statement that we know. It says a continuous function defined on a closed and bounded domain. Now U was an open set and we had concluded that R is closed and bounded subset of U. So, and f is continuous. So a continuous function defined on a closed and bounded domain is uniformly continuous. Okay. Now what can we conclude? We can say that fx is uniformly continuous on R. That means the partial derivative of the function f with respect to x is uniformly continuous on the domain R, or the rectangle R in the domain U. Now we will write definition of uniformly continuous. It says therefore whenever mod of x1 comma y1 minus x2 comma y2 is less than delta, then mod of fx x1 comma y1 minus fx x2 comma y2 will be less than epsilon upon d minus c. Mod of fx x1 comma y1 minus fx x2 comma y2 less than epsilon upon d minus c. Now why it is d minus c? In the previous proof also we had considered a particular value of epsilon, so here also we are doing the same thing. Now to prove that g dash of x is equal to integration of the function, partial derivative of the function f xy with respect to x, integration from c to d dy. Okay, this is what is given in the question itself. Now we will say let x naught be any arbitrary point and h be a very small number. This is a small step that helps us to prove what is asked. So let x naught be any arbitrary point and h be a very small number. Okay, that is we have to prove that, g dash of x naught, now wherever it is x we will write x naught. So g dash of x naught is equal to integration c to d fx x naught comma y dy. We have just replaced x with x naught. Now we will use the definition for differentiability, that is for mod of h greater than 0 and less than delta. We will consider the definition. Now we have to prove the above thing. Okay, so we will first write differentiability ka definition. It says mod of g dash of x naught minus integration c to d fx x naught comma y dy is equal to mod of g of x naught plus h minus g x naught upon h. Now this is the formula for the derivative of g dash. So the rest of the term remains the same, that is minus integration c to d fx x naught comma y dy. And the mod is completed. Okay, now from the first term we will take h or 1 by h common, so it will become mod of, first let us write it again so that it becomes easier to solve it further. G of x naught plus h minus g of x naught upon h minus integration c to d fx x naught comma y dy mod complete is equal to, let us take 1 upon h outside, so mod 1 by h bracket. Now we will substitute. We know that its value is integration from c to d fx naught plus h comma y dy. We have just replaced the value, that is integration c to d fx naught plus h comma y dy minus integration c to d fx naught comma y dy, that is substitution for the formula. Then integration c to d fx x naught comma y and dy modulus complete. Now both the integral signs have the same limit, that is c to d. So we will take the common integral for both the terms and rewrite it, that is mod 1 by h bracket integration c to d fx naught plus h comma y minus fx naught comma y dy bracket complete minus the last term remains the same, that is integration c to d fx x naught comma y dy. Okay, now earlier we know that wherever it was g x naught plus h, we have replaced it by fx naught. Now why have we done that? Because earlier we have defined that g dash of x value in terms of the function f. So now we say that we know that f is continuous on closed interval ab. This implies that f is continuous on x naught comma x naught plus h. Okay, because those two numbers are a part of that same interval. So f is continuous on interval a comma b, that implies f is continuous on closed interval x naught comma x naught plus h. And we also know that f is differentiable on open interval ab, which implies that f is differentiable on the smaller interval or whatever the sub interval x naught comma x naught plus h. Now these two are the basic conditions for Lagrange's mean value theorem. So therefore by LMVT we will write, see, we have to prove that it is less than epsilon. The term g dash of x naught minus integral c d fx x naught comma y dy is less than epsilon. So by LMVT we know that for x there exists theta belonging to the interval 0 comma 1 where theta lies between 0 and 1 such that f x naught plus h comma y minus f x naught comma y is equal to h f x naught plus theta h comma y. This is LMVT formula. Now the term f x naught plus h comma y minus f x naught comma y can be replaced, or the right hand side term can be replaced by mod of 1 upon h integral c to d h f x x naught plus theta h comma y dy. This is the right hand side term, that is a term with h. So we have just put integral into dy minus integral f x naught comma y dy. So that particular term value is what we have found out earlier. So that just we have replaced, and next mod of integral c to d fx x naught h in the numerator and denominator get cancelled, so the function the term becomes integral c to d fx x naught plus theta h comma y dy minus, now both the integrals are from c to d, therefore we combine it, minus fx x naught comma y dy. Now we can rewrite it as less than equal to integral c to d mod of fx x naught plus theta h comma y minus fx x naught comma y into dy. Now we know that mod integral f is always less than or equal to integral mod f. So that is what we have written. Reason we will write it. Mod integral f is less than equal to integral mod f. Okay, this is the reason. Now we know that earlier for the statement of continuity the particular term is less than epsilon, so that is what we have to write now. That is why we have earlier defined it, that is less than integral c to d epsilon dy. Now integrating we will get d minus c as an extra term, and epsilon का value is epsilon upon d minus c. That is what we have considered in the definition of continuity. We can see we have taken value as epsilon d minus c. That is what we have to replace. So it is epsilon upon d minus c, and integration wala d minus c they get cancelled, and what remains is only epsilon. So this is what we had to prove, that if mod x1 comma y1 x2 comma minus x2 comma y2 is less than delta, then that particular term is less than epsilon. So now we can say that for 0 less than mod h less than delta we have got, that is the same condition that we had considered earlier. So for 0 less than mod h less than delta we have got mod g dash x naught minus integration c to d fx x naught comma y dy mod complete is less than epsilon, not is equal to, less than epsilon. Now we can see that we have total 3 steps. First we had got that term, now this term, and now finally we have got it less than epsilon. So we will write less than epsilon. This is what we had to prove. So therefore we can write this particular term was used in LMVT and we have proved that it is less than epsilon. So there are total 3 parts. The proof is little confusing, but by practice it will be clear. So therefore we can say that g dash of x naught is equal to integration c to d fx x naught comma y dy. Let us replace the value of x naught by x, the whole term. So g dash x is equal to integration c to d fx x comma y dy is equal to fx can be written as integration c to d da by f by da by x or da by f xy upon da by x dy. This is what we had to prove, that is differentiation under integral sign. Thank you for watching today's video. Please do like, comment and share. If you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe it. From the next video, we will begin with the unit 2 for paper 1. Thank you for watching.